Tracy. This is Blackbird on the road. When you're driving, you get a lot of time to think. I try to keep my ear to the rail on a lot of things that are vital and important to this country and to our society. One of the frustrating things that I've noticed is how many talking heads there are and how few people try to make positive solutions or offer positive solutions, and I don't have any intention of being another talking head. I want to come to the table with real solutions, or at least kick off a conversation so that we can make some ground here. One of the things that I've noticed most vitally is a very concerted effort by the left to divide and conquer. People who should be uniting and working together for the good of the country are buying into the propaganda and lies. It's very easy, you find it everywhere. No one's allowed to offer an alternative voice. And Solomon said this: there are 6 things the Lord hates, and 7 are an abomination to him, or are nauseating to him, I think is a good way to put it. And one of those things is those who cause disunity among brothers. It is actually an evil thing to stir up conflict and disunity between people. And the left makes a practice of that. So those of us who care about our country have to realize we're not supposed to be uniform. We're not supposed to be all the same, think the same, speak the same, like the left insists on. We're supposed to be unified. That means we're different, we think differently, we come to the table with different perspectives, and yet we work for the common good of all and for the good of our country. So when people try to separate on gender or racial grounds or anything that a person cannot change, try to cause conflict between us, that's an absolutely evil thing. Now, there are going to be differences, there are going to be conflicts, because there are 2 things going on in this country. Well, any country for that matter, anywhere in the world. There are those that embrace good, and there are those that embrace evil. People that embrace evil hate what's good, and people that embrace good hate what's evil. It just follows. If you're going west, you're going away from east. That's just the way it goes. There are conflicts between people who fundamentally want completely different worlds that are upside down from each other. Those conflicts can't be unified, because the only way to bridge that gap is to embrace good, everyone, or for everyone to embrace evil. But some of us will never embrace evil. It just is not going to happen. We'll die first, or we'll win. That's the situation our country faces. There are 2 powerful currents in this country running completely opposite each other, and they cannot exist in the same space. Those who love good, those who love evil. We are, right this second, in a war. Thankfully, in most places, nobody's brought out the guns. If we learn from any of the experiences of history, one thing we know is a war like this in society always will lead to a hot war. While it's avoidable, there are always people who embrace evil. And when they're allowed to gain the foothold they've gained in our country, as they have, and they profit so much from their evil, they do not let go easily, they do not let go lightly. Slavery is a case in point. There were very effective efforts to combat slavery leading up to the Civil War. those that profited from slavery, those that wanted to justify it, fought back, and we fought back hard. The Mason-Dixon line was a negotiated line where any state north of that would be a free state, any state south would be a slave state. And then came Missouri. And because they couldn't come to an agreement as to what sort of state it would be, because it would create an imbalance of power in Congress, they decided that it could be both. Well, it can't be both. You can't have a place where people declare the value of human life and say that humans can be property. It cannot exist for long in the same space. So people started to conflict over that. About that time came a lawsuit that went to the courts. It's now called the Dred Scott decision. In it, the U.S. Supreme Court vastly superseded its authority to make a ruling that declared that blacks had no call or right to bring any case before the U.S. courts. They had, and I quote, no rights that the white man is bound to respect, unquote. And exceeding even the parameters of the case, they declared all blacks to be non-humans. You can imagine the fire that lit up. It was completely unjust. Shortly after that was an election. Abraham Lincoln famously ran, and when he won, the states that favor slavery pulled out of the Union. Whenever a nation allows injustice, embraces evil, if they don't deal with it when it's small, it becomes a cancer that destroys the entire nation. And now we have utter chaos going on. So what are we going to do about it? Like I said, I don't want to be just another talking head. The first, most important, vital thing that we must do, this isn't preaching, this is just straight up fact. We have to turn back to God, to Jesus Christ. Now, that doesn't mean that people who cannot participate in restoring this country. What it does mean is they are operating under their own power against a foe and a force that is far greater than they are. They have no chance of winning. But when you stand on God's side, the victory's already in place. There's no human on the planet or spiritual force that can fight the creator of the entire universe. God defines what's right and wrong, and we have to embrace right from wrong, recognize the difference. From there, we can start taking action to restore our country to some peace. The president has said it's his purpose to make America great again. There was a gentleman who visited this country by the name of Alexis de Tocqueville. After going coast to coast, north to south, and meeting Americans in all places, in all environments, he concluded, America is great because America is good. When America ceases to be good, America will cease to be great. We have embraced evil as a nation and as a government system. Our federal government mandates many kinds of evil, including abortion. They're pushing for socialism, unconscionable level of taxation, actively and intentionally teaching anti-God religion in public schools and turning children away from God. Because of this, when we turn to Christ as our foundation for right and wrong, the Word of God, this would be true even for Jews, Muslims, Christians, the majority of the American public. The Old Testament Bible, the Jewish, Christian, Muslim part, the Word of God, provided the foundations on which this country was built to start. And it was even recognized by people who didn't embrace God in a personal way or recognize Jesus as God. But they held to the foundation. That foundation established right from wrong, good from evil. It's from this word that we know stealing is wrong, murder is wrong, lying is wrong, and all of these worked into our code of laws and created a framework that allowed America to become strong and become great. We've lost our character, we've lost our moral standing. And because we've done that, no amount of business or incentive can make us great. There's a saying, not so common in business, but it has been in the past. All trade is based on trust. Trust is a character trait. Without the ability to trust the person you're trading with or the people you're trading with, you can't effectively trade. The less trust there is, the more difficult it is to trade. The more difficult it is, the more it costs. The more it costs, the less value you get out of it. You get to a point where there's no value in trading whatsoever. And countries that are in that situation are absolutely impoverished. Take Venezuela, for instance. Venezuela is completely caving in on itself because there's no moral character left. People can't trust each other. People who are supposed to be protecting the citizens of Venezuela are butchering them and stealing from them, taking their food. So I'll be coming back on with more thoughts as I drive. I'll be working, and hopefully with you, to provide concrete, real steps that we can take to turn America back around and regain our place in the world as the light of hope. See you later.